Hey everyone, today we will be presenting our behavior change study replication project. My name is Alyssa Buford and I'll be presenting the limitations portion later in the slides. Ashley No and Alexandra Brine will be presenting the overview of the study we chose to replicate and the literature review. Kara Gogalou will be going over the study procedures. Mindy Fairchild will be presenting data and findings, treatment fidelity, and inter-observer agreement information. And then Alexandra Brown will also be doing the conclusion and final thoughts on the project.
Hi, I'm going to be sharing my screen after I start the lit review so that you can see our presentation. My screen will no longer show my face for the rest of our presentation, but I will be here manning our PowerPoint presentation. So our literature review consists of our original study, 2 articles that are featuring similar methods for changing behavior, and 2 articles that feature similar behavior changes. Our first article is the one that we used that we based our behavior change project on. It's using goal settings and feedback to increase weekly running distance. This project used goal settings and feedback to increase weekly running distance, provided the hypothesis of increasing individual running frequency and duration through goal setting. The participants included 5 female college students who were considered to be healthy and able to participate. They measured their distance run using the Nike Sport Kit, which is a distance tracker. And the procedure consisted of the baseline where the participants wore the tracker but did not set either short or long-term goals. The first intervention where the participants would pick the short-term goal and the long-term goal. The long-term goal was their distance aimed to run in a single running episode, and their short-term goals were set every week during their weekly meetings, and they moved to new targets for their short-term goals as soon as they met their set duration across 2 consecutive runs. All participants met weekly with instructors and within their groups to set goals and report their progress. Intervention 2 was set up for participants when they failed to meet the criteria for multiple occasions for intervention 1. So goals were set based on weekly instead of daily running distance, and they changed it so that there was no minimum number of runs required per week. Instead, a distance had to be above the criterion for 2 or more weeks before participants could set a new goal for themselves. The participants were given the option to stay in the intervention 1 or move to intervention 2. However, the 3 participants who failed intervention 1 decided to move to intervention 2 instead. The results were that all 5 participants increased their running distance using goal setting and performance feedback. The flaws were that the sample size was very small. And then one of the 2 studies that had similar strategies for improving a behavior, where this one, which is promoting teachers to generalize an intervention using goal setting and performance feedback, which had teachers use goal settings and feedback notes to increase the way that they would talk to their students. So the teachers who said that they had issues with behavioral students in their classrooms, there were 3 of them. They all became part of this study, and they 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 so the three teachers, the two of the general education teachers and one Head Start teacher, none of them had previous experience with consulting or behavior intervention. They met with this group of colleagues so that they could receive feedback and set goals to learn how to talk to their students differently. The way that the procedure was set up, it was an A-B multiple baseline. First it was baseline, then it was goal setting and feedback, and then it went back to withdrawal of the feedback note and the generalization suggestions, and then the generalization training and feedback note were reintroduced. Later, they found out that the results were that the teachers displayed low levels of specific labeled praise, which is the SLP, and that's the way that they were talking to the students for both the target and the non-target students. So the target students are those with the behavior issues, and the non-target students are just the general education students who don't have any behavioral issues. However, after the intervention, the teachers started to increase their SLP for the target students, and then after the withdrawal, they decreased their generalization, and then when the generalization training was reintroduced, they increased their SLP for both target and non-target students. The flaws is that the sample size is very small, and that the second and third participant started simultaneously. The first participant started a month before for the multiple baseline study. And there's only one other study that tests generalization for teachers, so future studies should increase their sample size to better show a functional relationship between goal setting and feedback and teacher performance with generalization. The other performance feedback and goal setting study is to improve elementary students' writing fluency. It was a randomized control trial, which included 115 third grade students. They were broken up into three groups. The performance feedback and goal setting group included 38 students. One group only received performance feedback, and then there was a control group. The measurement tool was assessed the total number of words written and the number of correct writing sequences for each writing probe. They had 220 writing probes that they analyzed, and the results were that the students who received both interventions improved their writing fluency twice as much as those who were in the control group. However, there was no significant difference between when two interventions were used and only one intervention was used. So future studies should look more into the difference between maybe the performance feedback and goal setting to see which one is more influential. And then the findings show that using performance feedback is beneficial for writing fluency. Now Alex is going to tell you about the next two studies.
Hi everyone, I'm going to be discussing the preliminary efficiency of price-based contingency management to increase activity levels in healthy adults. This was a study that utilized the use of technology and reward to help promote physical activity.
Okay, we're going to stop because we lost her.